Walter's Sports Bar in Navy Yard offers $5 happy hour in both snacks and drinks. To reserve a table, visit waltersdc.com/happy hour.
Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this podcast. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of the EE System, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. In hundreds of locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/bluewire to learn more and find a center near you. That's unifydhealing.com/bluewire. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System.
Swinging a line drive, right center field, toward the gap. Harris, long run, won't get there. One hop off the big wall in right center field. Abrams trotting home. Thomas coming in right behind him as the former Brave, Eddie Rosario, coasted to second base.
Pitch to Senzel. Senzel lines it into left field. That's going to be in there for a base hit. Garcia's around third. He will score. Getting over to left field line is Kelnick finally to pick it up. And into second base with a double and an RBI. His second double of the day is Nick Senzel, and it's 4-0 Washington.
Lee sets third base side of the rubber. And the pitch swung on. Hit high in the air to deep left center field. Back goes Kelnick, way back. Warning track at the wall. Going. Gone. Goodbye. Bang! Zoom goes Nick Senzel into the visitors' bullpen in left center field. It's now the Nationals 7 and the Braves 2.
And welcome to Nats Chat for Sunday, June 9th, 2024. Along with MASNsports.com Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman, who is at Nationals Park. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. The Nationals have gone from looking like they might have a rough 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves to now being in prime position to win 3 out of the 4 games. Saturday, a 7-3 win. This off Friday evening's a 2-1 win. And the Braves starting pitcher for Sunday afternoon's Game 4 at 1:35 no longer will be the oh-so-difficult Max Fried. He's getting an extra day of rest. The pitcher instead will be Hurston Waldrep, who, yes, is a top prospect, but who also, yes, will be making his major league regular season debut. Hurston Waldrep is the number 72 prospect per MLB Pipeline. The Nats will be throwing DJ Hers. This episode of the Nats Chat podcast brought to us by Mason Kalfas and his team of 10 legal recruiters at Zenith Legal in Washington, D.C. Check out Mason's website today, zenithlegal.com, or call or text him anytime at 202-486-3535. The Nats on Saturday feasted on Brave starting pitcher Charlie Morton for a second time in 2 weeks. Morton in the Nats 8-4 win at the Braves on Memorial Day. 8 runs in 5 2/3 innings. Morton on Saturday, 5 runs, 4 earned in 5 innings. The Nats scored in 5 of the first 6 innings of the game. MacKenzie Gore had a good, albeit 5-inning start. The Nats bullpen was mostly good. And Mark, the feel of this series has changed quite a bit over the last 48 hours.
It has, Alan. I know sometimes we get caught up in the day-to-day machinations and the highs and lows that go with it. And a couple of days ago, we're talking about, boy, this team looks like they're in trouble. They lose the opener of the series. They can't hit, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you do have to take a step back and look at the broader picture here. I know you and Tim talked about it last night, about the season as a whole. I just want to talk about what they've done against the Braves. They're 5-2 against the Braves in the last 2 weeks, with 1 game to go in this back-to-back 4-game series. Even if they lose on Sunday, they will have gone 5-3, winning record against the 6-time defending division champs. Now, the Braves are banged up. Yes, as you mentioned, we've seen them skip over some of their better starters and put rookies out there instead, maybe overlooking the Nationals somewhat or not thinking they need their best starters against them. Whatever the case, this is a team that has dominated them the last few years. The Nats were 5-8 against the Braves last year, 5-14 the year before that. They've already matched that total 7 games into a 13-game head-to-head slate this year. This is progress. No, they're not on par with the Braves yet. They've got a ways to go. But from where they've been to where they are now, I think it's legitimate progress. And I think especially the consistent pitching that they are getting against some really good hitters and getting it from their young guys who have now faced them twice in the last 2 weeks, I think that tells you a lot about how good these young pitchers can be.
And the fact that the Nats could take 3 out of 4 games from the Braves twice in 2 weeks really is something. That was basically unthinkable these last few seasons, and yet now the Nats are on the doorstep of doing that. And the Nats did it on Saturday, not just with good pitching, but also with good offense. 7 runs, 12 hits. The Nats did work just 1 walk, but 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. The Nats had a home run to go with 4 doubles in addition to 7 singles, and the frequency with which the Nats scored in this game, I mentioned it a few moments ago, scoring in 5 of the first 6 innings in the game. 2 runs bottom of the first, a run bottom of the second, run bottom of the fourth, run bottom of the fifth, 2 runs bottom of the sixth. It was constant in this game. The Nats scoring runs, the Nats had men on base for so much of this game. This was a very impressive and equally distributed offensive performance.
I think that's the big part of it. Yeah, they had a good first inning, which you love to see. And then they kept it going. This wasn't one of those games where it all happened in one big bunch, and then they went through one of those stretches where, oh man, they only had 1 base runner over the next 5 innings. Stuff like that we have seen happen way too often. They hit Morton last week. They got to him again. It turned out to be a good matchup. They stuck with it. And when you score runs and knock out the other opposing starter after 5 innings and you're ahead, you get to face lesser relievers, and that maybe helped out a little bit over the remainder of the game. But it was good to see a lot of production from a lot of different people. That's not something, too often we're saying, oh, well, this one guy had a really good game, but nobody else did anything. This was pretty good distribution across most of the lineup, with a couple of guys in particular having very good games.
And leading that charge, Nick Senzel. Big game for him. Senzel in this game as the Nats starting third baseman and number 7 batter, got on base 4 times and had 8 total bases. He went 3 for 3 with a 2-run homer, an RBI double, another double, and a walk. Senzel in that Nats 1-run second, leadoff double to left field on a 1-2 pitch. Senzel in the Nats 1-run fourth, a 1-out RBI double to left field for a 4-0 Nats lead. Senzel in the Nats 2-run sixth, a 2-run homer to left field for a 7-2 Nats lead. And Senzel in the bottom of the 8th drew a 1-out walk. It's funny sometimes how a guy's numbers for a season can kind of sneak up on you. Senzel hasn't necessarily been consistent, but he has an OPS of 793 for this regular season. He actually has been a pretty productive batter. It feels like his offense has come in bunches, so maybe that's why it doesn't feel like he's having that kind of a season. But he's doing some good things offensively, and he had a tremendous game on Saturday.
Yeah, when he hits for power. That's a good thing. Obviously, you'd like to see it a little more consistently, but last 13 games, he's batting .359. On-base percentage, .444, because he has been taking his walks as well, and slugging percentage of .590. So you're talking about almost 250 points higher slugging than batting average. So hitting for power, which has been really good for him. And he does hit lefties well. That's been kind of a consistent theme from this year. But for him to get some off of Morton, the right-hander as well, was good. These were good quality at-bats. It's interesting you said that, I mentioned the on-base percentage and the walks, that I think he's learned that when he's a little more patient, it opens up the door to more hits. So when he's willing to take his walks, maybe it means he's not chasing out of the zone as much. And then when he does get a good pitch to hit, he's being aggressive and hitting it hard. So you would love to see him bottle that up and do this for a sustained stretch. I don't know if that's feasible right now. I'm not sure that, the Nationals are really looking at him long term. But the more he can do for them right now, the better. They need all the help they can get in their lineup. And the other thing he mentioned, consistent playing time. And we know earlier in the year, some of it was his injuries, some of it was Trey Lipscomb being up here and them trying to find ways to get him in there. Senzel has pretty much played almost every day now over the last several weeks, and you see the production, at least in his mind, he thinks consistent playing time leads to better results.
He's second on the team in walks, 22, and that's in just 43 games. So he's actually done a good job of drawing walks and really good job in the win on Saturday. Also having a good game, Eddie Rosario. He was the Nats' cleanup batter and designated hitter, 2 for 4, 2-run double, and an RBI single. Rosario in the Nats' 2-run first, a 1-out 2-run double off the right center field warning track for a 2-0 Nats lead. Rosario in the Nats' 1-run fifth, a 2-out RBI single into right field on an 0-2 pitch for a 5-1 Nats lead. I give Davey Martinez credit. He'll shuffle some guys up and down the lineup at times. In this game, he had Rosario as the cleanup batter and as the DH, and it paid off. Rosario had a very productive game.
He did. It was really nice to see that in the first inning because the double came moments after Jesse Winker, their number 3 hitter and probably their hottest hitter here of late, with 2 on, nobody out in the first inning, the sac bunt from your number 3 hitter, playing some whitey ball. I don't know if that was Tommy Herr or Jesse Winker at the plate. I'm not sure. It worked. Eddie Rosario doubled on the next at bat, drove them both in. Maybe if Winker was on too, you could have scored even more, but far be it for me to question that. But key double there, 2 out, RBI single in the 5th. That was good to see from him. And then the last at bat in the 7th inning, not so good. I don't know if you want to get into that one. The 3-6-3 double play that maybe didn't have to be one.
Yes, the hustle from Eddie Rosario in that moment. Not exactly supreme. That was not good. And, that's a veteran. He's got to know better than that. And that was not good to see. I want the record to show that it was Mark Zuckerman, not Al Galdi, who brought up Jesse Winker putting down the sacrifice bunt in that 2-run first inning. I was going to be a good boy and not mention that because the Nats won, scored 7 runs. Mark was the naughty boy. He's the one who brought that up.
I know what you were thinking when it happened, but I assure you, I felt the exact same way as you did as that bunt went down. What on earth are you doing? I don't know, because it really wasn't a factor in the end. I don't know if he bunted on his own. I don't know if he got the sign. I don't know if there was a missed sign. I don't know, but I did not like that in the moment. Yes, it played out all right, but boy, that was very questionable strategy from whoever decided to do that.
I could not stand that. And, Jesse Winker is one of the Nats' hotter batters right now. And to have him do that was maddening. But yes, it did not harm the Nats too much, I guess you can say, in the end. Winker, another single. He went 1 for 3 with a single, bottom of the 7th, opposite field single to left center field. Jesse Winker is among the National League leaders in on-base percentage, 369 now for this regular season. He's doing some good things, perhaps playing his way into being a trade chip. We shall see. Hey, are you a law firm partner or associate looking for an upgrade from AAA to the majors? Don't be stuck in Rochester like James Wood. Step up to the big leagues by getting the best legal recruiter in D.C. on your team, Mason Kalfas and his team of 10 legal recruiters at Zenith Legal in Washington, D.C. Many lawyers think that they are stuck at firms with inferior resources, management, or compensation, but it is still an active lateral market with top firms looking to poach talent from competitors. And unlike a prospect's move up to the majors, you will find the new firm can make your practice easier. Better resources, better cross-selling opportunities, and better branding to win business from prospective clients. Don't be stuck in Fredericksburg when you are a Washington, D.C. level talent in litigation, regulatory, or corporate legal practices. Mason Kalfas will discuss your practice and clients with you and help you find a better platform to increase your compensation and career trajectory. He has placed partners in over half of the AmLaw 100 law firms, and his candidates rave about the excellent service and their new jobs. Mason also is well known for working with senior government lawyers at the DOJ, SEC, and White House to find positions in top Washington, D.C. law firms. Check out his website today, zenithlegal.com, or call or text him anytime, 202-486-3535. Go Nats!
From groan-worthy dad jokes to patching up skinned knees, your dad is one of a kind. This Father's Day, give him a gift that is guaranteed to take him to his happy place. Omaha Steaks. Order mouth-watering gift packages starting at just $89 when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code NATSCHAT at checkout. Each package is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Show your dad the love he deserves with a gift as unforgettable as he is. Visit omahasteaks.com, promo code NATSCHAT at checkout. Here's your Dylan Cruz and Brady House update for the game played on Saturday. Cruz 0 for 2 while playing center field, struck out once, OPS at 796. Brady House sitting right behind him, doubled in the afternoon, had an RBI, also struck out once. His OPS at 745 on the season. Now back to the show.
Abrams waits, standing straight up in the box. The pitch swung on, line drive left field. That's going to drop in. One hop in front of Kelnick, a base hit. Senzel scores from third. An RBI single to left for C.J. Abrams, driving in his 28th run of the year. The Nationals with a clutch 2-out run-scoring single. It's now the Nationals 3 and the Braves nothing.
So good stuff from Eddie Rosario, good stuff from Nick Senzel. Jesse Winker had another hit. We had Lane Thomas in this game having a multi-hit game. It was good to see, like we said earlier, a bunch of guys getting on the act. Thomas in this game is an starting right fielder, number 2 batter, 2 for 4 with a couple of singles, 2-run first, a single up the middle despite having been down to the count at 1.12. Bottom of the 7th, a leadoff first pitch single to left field. C.J. Abrams in this game had a notable hit. He in the Nats 1-run second, went out opposite field, RBI single to left field for a 3-0 Nats lead. Now, he did then get picked off and caught in an attempted steal of second base, as that continues to be a problem for the Nats. But Abrams in this game, starting shortstop, number 1 batter, 1 for 4, RBI single, and a hit by pitch. And, this was just a professional game offensively. Luis Garcia Jr. had a double. This felt like a game put together by a good offense. And I think this is part of the frustration with the Nats this season. We see them have games like this, and we all kind of wonder, why can't we see this more often? This team is capable of being better offensively than what we've seen. I think that's part of the issue here. No, it's not a great team on paper, but I think it's better than what the offense has been so far this season.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to look at the run distribution chart for them for the season. It feels like it's either 1 or 2 runs, or it's like 6, 7, 8 and beyond. There's not a lot of those in between score 4, 5 runs, which often is the difference in winning a game, especially when your pitching has been good. So they do have it in them. Yes, I don't know if it's strictly about the matchups and who they're facing. Davey keeps pointing to this whole thing of like when you score early, it relaxes everyone and you have a big day. I mean, they've now, even with the 2 runs they had in this one, they've still only scored 16 first inning runs all year, fewest in the majors. And of those 16, 6 have now come against Charlie Morton in the last 2 weeks. So 10 first inning runs against everybody else in 62 other games they've played this year. It does feel like when they get off to a good start, things go well from there. When they don't, they tighten up and it becomes one of those days that they're scratching for 1 or 2 runs.
What's funny with Morton, he's not having like some horrible season. It's just 2 of his worst games have come against the Nats. There's something about him to where the Nats see him well and have really torched him twice over these last few weeks. And the Nats had this good offensive game without having a single stolen base. So showing that they can, in fact, do well offensively without the running game being a big-time factor. Well, we had MacKenzie Gore as the Nats starting pitcher for this 7-3 win over the Braves on Saturday. The nit to pick is that he only lasted for 5 innings, but he was effective in those 5 innings. 2 runs in 5 innings, 7 strikeouts versus 1 walk. Gore gave up 6 hits, which were 2 doubles and 4 singles. The issue, as we have come to know, pitch inefficiency. He issued a hit by pitch and a wild pitch. He threw 99 pitches over the 5 innings, 61 strikes versus 38 balls. So, that's been an issue with him. It's something he's got to work on, but 2 runs in 5 innings is certainly workable. 7 strikeouts versus 1 walk is very good. I think you put this down as a good start for Gore, but it's a good start that could have been a great start had he been more pitch efficient.
Yeah, this falls into the category of didn't have his best stuff, but still was effective. And I think that's been a big development, as we've talked about, for him this year. It really was just the first inning was the problem. He strikes out the first 2 batters, and he's looking like he's in great shape. And then he ends up loading the bases. And by the time he gets out of it, and he did get out of it, but he's up to 27 pitches now. And so he's already facing an uphill climb because of that. He averaged 16 pitches per inning after that through the 5th. That's fine. You'd love to have a quick one, an 8 or 9 pitch inning somewhere, but that's not always going to happen. 16 is okay if you can sustain that over a whole start. So now you get to the 6th, and he's already at 91 going into the inning. He's facing the heart of the lineup. He told Davey he wanted to go back out there. Davey said, you know what? You got 100 pitches. So as soon as you hit that number, no matter what, you're coming out of this game. Give up back-to-back hits. One of them was a blooper. And so he's at 99, and that's it for him. And now in comes Derek Law. And Law did his job. He retired the 3 batters he faced, and yet a run still scored, another inherited runner because of a wild pitch, which maybe should have been a pass ball. That's another story. But I do think as much as you'd love to see Gore at his best more regularly, the fact that he's been able to still be effective even when he's not at his best is a big sign of growth for him. And you hope that just continues. And, he still is here a very effective pitcher. There's just some fine tuning there that you'd love that just lets him get through one more inning. We're not talking about him going 8 in a game. Just get through the 6 consistently. It's pitch count around 100, and everything I think is going to be just fine for him.
What remains interesting with Gore is the BABIP allowed remains really high. It's at 363 for this regular season. League average BABIP is usually around 300. So if you're well above that, that is indicative of either bad luck or bad defense or maybe both. The thing is, the other BABIPs allowed by Nats starting pitchers are mostly really low. Jake Irvin, 269. Trevor Williams, 270. Mitchell Parker, 258. So I don't know if this is Gore having been plagued by really bad luck and Irvin and Parker and Williams benefiting from good luck. I don't know if maybe just for whatever reasons the Nats defensively have been better at converting balls in play into outs when Irvin and Parker and Williams have pitched. You know, perhaps Gore has given up some harder contact than some of those guys, but that does stand out. A 363 BABIP allowed when other starters on the staff are a lot lower than that in terms of the BABIP allowed.
The 2 points I'd make on that, perhaps, theories on it. Number one, and he said this, that his mistakes have really been down the middle of the plate. And so that leads to loud contact. He's not getting beat on, pitches around the edges of the zone. It's usually a mistake pitch over the plate, which you expect good contact. The other thing is he doesn't give up a lot of ground balls. He is a fly ball pitcher. Ground balls more likely to turn into outs than fly balls, so that may have something to do with it as well. The problem is it does make him sort of rely on the strikeout more than the other guys do. We've seen the other guys not always big strikeout numbers, but can be effective and more efficient. I don't think you want to go trying to change the way this guy pitches. He's got great stuff. He is being effective. I think it's just a matter of trying to be a little bit more efficient. And once the team starts to let him go a little deeper, he may have to eventually be a guy that you count on for 110 pitches to get through his 6 innings, something like that. It may not be as simple as, okay, 100, that's the hard cap, that's it. I think eventually they're going to get there with him. It's still early enough in the season, still early enough in his career that they probably don't want to force that issue right now.
His strikeouts per 9 innings is at 10.72, by far the best on the staff. Do you know, is there a workload limit on MacKenzie Gore this season, or is it kind of free reign for him to go as far and as long as he can go?
I think he's pretty good. He's essentially in the situation that Josiah Gray was in last year. They watched him more closely a year ago. They will, of course, like I just said, not going to extend him 110 pitches regularly, at least not early on. But as long as he's healthy, they may find a spot here or there to skip a day or give him some extra rest, things like that. But I don't think we're going to be talking about them shutting him down late in the year. I think they're comfortable with the workload the way that it's been going. And I think they have all along looked at 2024 for MacKenzie Gore the same way they looked at 2023 for Josiah Gray.
Tim Shover's here to tell you about Game Time. This summer at Jiffy Lube Live, acts include Neil Young, Hank Williams Jr., and Chris Stapleton. If you're interested in finding tickets to any of these shows, make sure to check out the Game Time app. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NATSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code NATSCHAT for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. The finals mean more on PrizePicks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. And when the finals are over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks because women's basketball is just getting started. With young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves, alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson, you could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. This week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the basketball board and selecting Jaylen Brown for more than 25 points, Tyrese Halliburton for more than 10 assists, and Jason Tatum for more than 10 rebounds. Download the app today and use code BLUEWIRE for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code BLUEWIRE on the PrizePicks app for that first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less, it's that easy.
Before history is written, it's played. Before it's frozen in time, it's fought one shift at a time. Before it's etched in silver, it's carved in ice. What happens next will last forever. The Stanley Cup Final on ABC and ESPN Plus begins Saturday.
Here's the set. Now the pitch on the way. Swinging a chopping ground ball. Big hop to Abrams at short. He has time. The throw across to Gallo. And bang! Zuma. Curly W is in the books. The Nationals have beaten the Braves for the 5th time in 7 meetings so far this season.
Nats bullpen in this 7-3 win over the Braves on Saturday. Mostly good. 1 run in 4 innings, 6 strikeouts. Those are official numbers because Derek Law officially allowed a run in 2 innings, although he did allow an inherited runner to score. Law had 3 swinging strikeouts, came into the game top of the 6th, runners on first and second, no outs, Nats up 5-1, issued a 2-out run-scoring wild pitch to cut the Nats lead to 5-2. That run was charged to MacKenzie Gore. Now, Mark alluded to this earlier. The wild pitch very well could have been charged as a pass ball to catcher K-Bit Ruiz. I actually thought they might change that. As far as I can tell, they have not changed that, so that does remain a wild pitch. And then Law, in the top of the 7th, gave up a leadoff first pitch, opposite field homer by Sean Murphy to right center field to cut the Nats lead to 7-3. But Dylan Floro, perfect top of the 8th. Robert Garcia, a perfect top of the 9th with 2 swinging strikeouts. And I was wondering watching this game, Nats are up 4. Would we see Kyle Finnegan? We did not. Nats didn't need him. Had they pitched Kyle Finnegan, remember he pitched in the win on Friday evening, and remember he got that token appearance in the 6-3 loss to the Mets at Nationals Park this past Tuesday evening. The game was basically out of hand. Finnegan was brought into the game. I was wondering if they pitched Finnegan on Saturday, would that render him unavailable for the potential to win the series on Sunday afternoon? Thankfully, Davey Martinez did not pitch Finnegan Saturday, didn't need to, and now Finnegan will be available for Sunday.
This is where the Nick Senzel 2-run homer is huge. It gives him that cushion that now takes it out of save territory. Let's also remember Hunter Harvey, I'm guessing, was not available after pitching the previous 2 days. So that may be why he extended Derek Law for 2 innings and then got through the rest of it with Floro, and then you're able to use Garcia in the 9th because you're up 4. I think that is big. I think they want to be able to do that more often. They just have not been up 4 or more runs enough to feel comfortable doing it. So even on a day when one of your top 2 guys wasn't available, you're able to not have to use him and not have to use your closer and still win the game comfortably, which now puts you in the best possible position for Sunday, after which they finally have an off day for the first time in 2.5 weeks. So all hands on deck for Sunday as they try to win the series. That's a good position to be in.
Yeah, and there is light at the end of the tunnel here because it's not just that the Nats have been playing a lot of games. They've been playing games/series against some good teams. The Braves twice with 2 4-game series the last 2 weeks. You had that 3-game set at the Cleveland Guardians last weekend. You get the off day on Monday, then 3 games at the Detroit Tigers, then 3 games at home against the Miami Marlins, then 3 games at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks, then 3 games at the Colorado Rockies. So the schedule is softening a bit, and there are some off days coming up now. You have an off day on Monday, June 10th, off day on Monday, June 17th. So as we do start to get closer to the All-Star break, schedule softens, you get some off days. This brutal run that the Nats have been on is going to come to an end, assuming there's no rain out on Sunday, which we don't anticipate. The weather's been great here lately. So that's good. And that the Nats could win this series 3-1 is tremendous. What a great way to go into an off day if the Nats can pull that off.
It would feel really good. I am very curious to see DJ Hers in game number 2, how he does, and to see this rookie, a guy drafted last year, already making his major league debut, yet another one ahead of Dylan Cruz, even though he was drafted way behind him. I'm very interested to see how that all goes. And as far as after that, I agree the schedule looks a lot better on paper, but I think the one thing we have to acknowledge so far this season, the way the schedule has looked has not necessarily mirrored the way the Nationals have played. They have played up to their better competition and played down to the lesser competition, at least so far. Hopefully that does not remain the case.
Yes, although they did get that 4-game sweep of Miami, so maybe that can be a sign of what's coming, but who knows? We shall see. But good stuff by the Nats, and hopefully it continues there with that Game 4 against the Braves on Sunday afternoon. And that is the game at which Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels will be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. So will be interesting to see. Do you think that'll impact attendance? Nats have gotten some good attendance so far this series. Do you know, does who's throwing out the first pitch ever actually impact attendance or not really?
I'm going to say in this case not, because I know they announced it, but I don't know if it's really been made that big a deal out of it. My guess it's a good crowd anyways, because it's a Sunday afternoon against the Braves. School's starting to get out. You would hope it's a good crowd. They had almost 34,000 on Saturday after selling out on Friday, so that part's good. In terms of first pitch throwers who on their own could draw a big crowd, I'm thinking outside of presidents of the United States, how many others alone are going to draw that?
Probably not many. And, with the way politics are now, I don't know that presidents necessarily would drive up attendance. Might drive down attendance, depending on who's throwing out the pitch and what people think of the person.
Let me throw out one other thing, not really related to baseball, but Tim Shover just reminded us, I saw this happened earlier. The Belmont Stakes was won by a horse named Dornoch. Dornoch is owned in part by Jayson Werth. Congratulations, Jayson Werth, owner of a horse that won a Triple Crown race. Who would have ever thunk it, 7 years ago when he was finishing out his career here?
Well, I saw footage of Jayson at the Kentucky Derby. His hair now is down to like his shoulder blades. He looks like a heavy metal singer from the 1980s. So he had the suit, the hat, and the heavy metal hair going. So good for him.
He's secretly Guns N' Roses bassist now, right?
He looks like it. He absolutely looks like it. So congratulations, though. That is tremendous. You have horse owners and trainers who work for decades just to get horses into these Triple Crown races, let alone win them. Here's Jayson Werth. I mean, he's only been in this game for a little while, and he wins a Belmont Stakes. That is outstanding.
Good for him. It sounds like by all accounts, he is fully into this now. This is not just a little side hobby. He is 100% invested in this. He's not the lead on this. He's part of a group that owns the horse, but good for him. So often we wonder, what are guys going to do when their careers are over? Where are they going to find their inspiration, their motivation? Good for him for finding something and getting into it and now having success doing it.
This installment of the Nat Chat podcast brought to us by Mason Kalfas and his team of 10 legal recruiters at Zenith Legal in Washington, D.C. Check out Mason's website today, zenithlegal.com, or call or text him anytime, 202-486-3535. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can email the show, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website that you can check out, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat podcast t-shirt. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. Nats Chat is on the radio Sunday morning 9 to 10 on ESPN Richmond, which is 106.1 FM in the Richmond, Virginia area, and Sunday morning 9 to 10 on Priority Sports Radio 94.1 in the Virginia Beach area. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat podcast.
Great ownership group, and Jayson, I know you're no stranger to winning. How would you compare this to winning a world championship?
I would put it right up there with winning the biggest stage. Horse racing is the most underrated sport in the world, bar none. It's the biggest game. You got the Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont. We just won the Belmont. This is as good as it gets in horse racing. It's as good as it gets in sports.